Hello, SLAPAFISH community. Welcome back to another World Tanks console video. So in this video, I'm going to be going over the T95E2 57, a brand new Era 1 Western Alliance medium tank premium for Cold War. And basically, what's unique about this tank? It has the siege mode, a manual siege mode that you can activate and get better gun depression, gun elevation. And but you lose mobility. So basically, you want to fight over a Ridge Line and have 14 degrees of gun depression. There you go. Turn into siege mode. And so basically, let's talk about this tank. Let's talk about the equipment and crew skills I have on my T95E2. So I have the advanced loader, gun stabilizer, powertrain, and enhanced target info. My commander has 8 skills on it: born leader, rapid loading, off-road driving, supply conservation, controlled impact, clutch braking, steady aim, and 6th sense. And yes, this is my M1A2 crew, so that's what I decided to put in this tank. So the best comparison tank I can actually compare this to is like the T95E3. You know, that medium tank that kind of looks like this. Also, this is what this tank can do when in its siege mode, and tear apart WZ-111s, which is actually kind of nice. This is basically where this tank is like dominant. It's supposed to be hold down while the tanks are flanking or trying to push up on you, and you can just rip them apart. You really just can. And you sort of do have turret armor to bounce shields, but to make your turret armor work, you gotta keep backing up and going forward to make it harder for the enemy team to pen. Alright, block 390 damage. I've only took 1 shell in return, so haven't done it yet. Also, I'm going to have 2 replays for this tank. This one and the next one. So, let's talk about this tank. So, the best tank I can compare this to is the T95E3. Which is the tank that looks like this, has better turret armor and higher alpha. So, if you like your T95E3, or you like the playstyle of the T95E3, so what's the playstyle of the T95E3? That tank is supposed to go hold down, just like this one, and hits for 390. It's more about the alpha 390, but it's Cold War with bad RNG, so it's like more like 340, 350. And you have more armor, but you still have the cupola on top. Now you got the T95E2, which is this tank. Basically, this tank has less alpha at 240. Right, 240? Yes, it's 240. Better mobility. And also both tanks have both tanks have the same DPM, if you're wondering about that. They're both identical DPMs. It's 2,363 DPM for both tanks. And basically you have a choice between the E2 and the E3. E3, 390 alpha, more armor. E2, lower alpha, and better mobility, better gun depression. So that's your choices. That's the difference between the 2 tanks. That is, pretty much it about the differences. If you're wondering what time it takes to go from siege mode to out of siege mode, it's 1 second, so it's not that bad. Basically, you just really want to get into a position and just kind of farm in this tank. Just use your 2,363 DPM and just pretty much farm away. Also, I want to say something. There's a tank capping on the B1 cap circle. Yes, 33 seconds. And I'm pretty sure that's the E3. That's the T95E3. Also, T95E3 is one of the dangerous tanks in Era 1. It was for the longest of times. I don't know. It probably still is, because it can go hold out. It's got the alpha. It's mobile also. So yeah, also T95E3 4005. That 4005 was waiting to reset and just knocked up for half health. That 4005 was hiding back there so he can get a reset off. And that T95E3 is going to die from the 4005 because he wanted to cap. Also, fun fact, this T95E3 only does the damage to the 4005. That's the only thing he does in the entire game. Basically, he spawned in, drove to the enemy cap circle, capped it, got two-shotted by 4005, did some damage to the 4005, and died. That was his entire game, pretty much. So I loaded high explosive against the 4005, popped some smoke, because the 4005 can't walk onto me. It's kind of funny. And boom, dead. So that's one replay. Now we move on to the second replay, right after we go to the post-battle results screen. So we got second, 3,694 damage. That's not bad. Made 199,000 silver. Almost 200,000 silver, so yeah. Also, I do want to go over the boosts of this tank. This tank actually has all 4 boosts. It has a silver boost at 55%, an XP boost at 15%, a free XP boost at 6%, and a crew XP boost at 15%. I'm pretty sure this is one of the few tanks in the entire game that has all 4 boosts on the tank, which is impressive. And that's probably one of the selling points on the tank. Another selling point on the tank. Also, the tank is 8,500 gold, so it's not that expensive. Actually, it's kind of cheap for an Era 1 premium tank. So, now let's go actually do some damage in this tank. Let's use the gun depression and just farm people, really. And use the mobility. Also, the mobility is not that bad on this tank. It's 56.3 compared to the 56.3, which is the T95E3. So both tanks have 56.3 top speed. I'm using the powertrain, so I bumped it up 59. But the E2 has the better horsepower per ton. The E3 has 13.69. The E2 has 15.17. Also, the E2 has a better turret traverse and track traverse. So it's the more mobile version of the tank. As you can see, if you like same DPM, really good DPM, mobile, gun depression, and can fire up more often, E2 is more of your style. If you like gun depression, turret armor, and less mobile, and you can do 390 alpha, then the E3 is more of your style. So if you have the E3, you like the E3, keep the E3. And yeah. So now I'm just gonna say hello to the Centurion 5-1. Also, I didn't talk about the penetration, but the penetration is far enough to deal with every tank in the game. In Era 1 that you're gonna meet. Like, the most armor that is in the game at Era 1 is the WZ-111. And you've already seen, I was actually ripping apart the 111 armor. Also, this is me using the siege mode to get the shot onto the Centurion. Now, that's a 4005. I do not want to get shot by. Now, so the T95E2 has 234mm on its standard, 300mm on its premium. Now, if you load heat rounds, your premium rounds, against a T-34's turret, shoot it right beside the gun, you're going to pen the T-34's gun. I mean, the turret armor. Because it's heat rounds, you have 300mm of penetration, and Cold War's bad RNG, which makes you high roll on penetration. So you're going to go straight to the T-34's turret if you know shoot to the side of the gun with heat rounds. And also, I'm going to say hello to this E3. Hello, Mr. E3. Now, even though the E2 has less armor than the E3, the E2 can still bounce shells. It really can. It can play like an E3, but it's a little bit more challenging to make the armor work. You just gotta rock back and forth like I was doing earlier against the E3. And that's how you play the E2 to make the armor work. And the gun, when it goes, starts to get farming, starts to do what it needs to do, it can rack up the damage pretty quickly, actually. Like the M116. The M116 is in a fantastic tank. Can rack up the damage really, really quickly. The M116 has a little bit higher alpha, but I believe has about the same rate of fire as the T95E2. You can actually check on that one. And yeah. Actually, I'm going to check real quick. See what the rate of fire is on the M116, which is a really good tank for sure. If you don't have the M116, get it. Because it's so good. So, yeah, the E2 has a little bit faster rate of fire than the M116, but has 40 less alpha. So yeah, it is really comparable. The gun is really comparable to the M116, and that's just a really good tank. So, now there's 6 tanks left. I have done that position pretty nicely. I've blocked almost 1,000 damage. Now I'm going to deal with this little 107. Also, like I said earlier, the track reverse and the turret reverse is really nice on this tank. It's faster than the E3. And this tank can easily keep up with fast light tanks that are trying to turn around you and go around you in circles. This 107 is not doing the best of jobs, but I can easily keep up with the 107. Because I have that such a good horsepower per time, and he will never be able to get behind me because I have that amazing turret traverse and track traverse on the E3. And if you notice there, 4005 was staring at me. I popped smoke, and I knew he was going to blind fire. Because I knew he was going to blind fire that spot I was at. Because I would keep, if I was kept driving straight, he would have one-shotted me. So that's why I pulled off to the side. And it popped my smoke. Pulled off to the side after I popped my smoke. So anyway, now it's just the 4005 loaded high explosive round. Now the high explosive round does 320 damage. It's only really effective against light tanks like the PT-76, the Type 63-1, and the 4005, or any other little light tanks that you want to do damage to. It doesn't have good penetration. It's 45. Other high explosive penetrations are higher, up to 90, 120. This is on the lower end of 45. So, yeah. Hello, 4005. Goodbye, 4005. That's why I don't carry that many high explosive. Oh, wait, I actually carried 9 rounds of high explosive. I mean, the tank gets enough ammunition to do it anyway. So, that game made 289,000 silver. And, yeah. That's it for this film. Remember what I said. E2. Better mobility. Better gun diversion. And faster rate of fire. E3, better turret armor, higher alpha. Yep, that's the differences. Pretty much that's the differences. Anyway, that's it for this video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Also remember SLAPAFISH because of what you like. And peace out. See ya.